Hi, how you doing? Coming to you from the AGT warehouse here in Garden Grove, California. We have a client machine here and he just bought it last week. This is the AGT-YSRT14 mini skid steer, and we're going to service it for him. We're going to grease it up and change the oil and change hydraulic fluid, and then he also purchased a breaker, and we're going to go ahead and charge that with nitrogen and get that ready for install. Okay, let's see how it goes. So right now we're just warming up the motor to get the oil warm, so when we drain the oil, it'll just be a little easier to flow out nicely, and we're trying to get all of the oil out of the crank. Okay, so this is a Rado 420 cc motor, single lung air cooled. It has a drain plug, which is located right there. And that is a 12 millimeter. So I'm going to put 12 millimeter socket on it. And we're going to use a wobble head extension because the angle is a little tight. So I'm just going to put it on there so we can get to that guy. Home Depot paint tray / oil pan. So it's a nice fit for this particular model. Slides right down in here, nice and easy, easy to come by. It works pretty well. And we'll let that drain for 10-15 minutes. Just make sure we get as much of the oil out of the crankcase as we can. Okay, so a lot of times I see the question out there is, what size is the drain plug on the Rado engine? So it is a 12 millimeter, as you can see there, and it is a 1.5 thread. So 12 millimeter by 1.5. So if you wanted to add a drain hose, you can go on Amazon, order yourself a oil extension hose that's 12 by 1.5, and it'll screw right in there, and then that makes draining the oil a little easier. Port and the dipstick for this motor is located here in the back. You'll see this orange dipstick. We're just going to loosen that up and take that out, and we'll be putting in 1 liter of oil. So oil capacity on this motor is 1 liter, and that's what we'll be putting in. Okay, so one of the things I'm going to point out is this motor has 2 locations where you can add oil. One of them has a dipstick in it, the other one's just a plug. So the first one we removed, which was easy to get to, was the plug. The dipstick side is located over here, or where it's going to come from the factory, it's over here. So what we're going to do is, when we put this back together, I'm going to put the plug on this side, and I'm going to move the dipstick over here where it's easy to get to. Okay? Easy fix. So what we try to do when we fill this oil, the specification calls for 1 liter, so we're going to measure out 1 liter of oil, and then we'll put it in. We generally don't go on the amount of oil that came out, because if the motor was low on oil and we match that, we'd be putting back low on oil. So we're going to make sure we put in that full 1 liter, and it should be good to go. I'm just using a flex funnel here to get it down in there. Now this oil is a 1540 synthetic blend. This particular unit is going to be used here in Southern California, where the weather is kind of mild, not too cold, not too hot. So this gives us a nice wide operational range from about 20 degrees to 100 degrees. Okay, so we've filled the crankcase back up with oil. It's all the way up to the top. One of the things that are really important about this motor, and also the 13.5 Briggs & Stratton, is they are splash lubrication. And what that means is, every time that connecting rod goes around inside the motor, when it goes down to the bottom, there's a little piece there, and it splashes in the oil. And that generates a big hot spray of oil, and that's how your engine stays lubricated. It moves that oil around, gets everything lubricated. If the oil level in the motor drops low and the splasher is no longer splashing, your motor is no longer lubricating. So keeping your oil topped up, really important.